Working with the elderly raises a lot of ethical issues, and I think particularly when you're working with people who are suffering from some memory impairment. One of the issues in ethics has to do with the autonomy. We all want to have a say over our life and our decisions. And as we become, as some, I don't want to say as we become, but as some people become older and a little bit more dependent, because it doesn't happen to everyone, 3/4 of seniors live very, very independently, people need some assistance in decision making. Okay. So the ethical concerns arise in terms of service providers who start making decisions for the person's behalf because they know what's best for that individual. They're taking away their autonomy. So the person who's living at home and is doing very fine, thank you very much, and the adult child says, you know, Mom, I'm living in New York City and you should not be living at home anymore because I'm concerned about you falling, becomes an ethical issue, because you want to respect the autonomy of the individual, especially if they're mentally competent, and yet the value of health or protection or paternalism are in conflict there. So there are extreme ethical issues that have to do with autonomy, and then of course there are ethical issues in terms of caregivers who are providing care for seniors. The senior is so overwhelmed at this attention that they decide that they're going to give all their inheritance or their car or their gifts to this caregiver. And that is wrong, you know, on one hand, and on the other hand, if nobody's taking care of this individual and the family isn't there to provide that care, shouldn't that person have the right then to turn over their financial inheritance to this caregiver? It creates an ethical dilemma, especially if this person is mentally competent. Okay. It is not an issue of being an ethical dilemma if the person is not mentally competent. If they have some signs of memory impairment, then it's just wrong. It's morally incorrect. It's not even an ethical decision. So I think the whole issue of the balance between respecting a person's autonomy and taking over, you know, letting them have some input into the decision making is absolutely essential, because I think as service providers we tend to come in and think, well, we know what's best for you. So that's the real issue, is walking that fine line between letting the person feel like they still have control in their life and yet supporting them in the background.